Ilco's Engrave-It Pro and Vision 10 software to engrave keys perfectly. Let's get into the show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is Mike with Door and Lock Tips. I'm going to be showing off a piece of software you have to use with your Engrave-It Pro. If you own an Engrave-It Pro, which I highly recommend if you're kind of computer savvy, you're going to need to know how to operate this Vision 10 software with the Engrave-It Pro. When you buy your Engrave-It Pro from Ilco, they're going to send you this flash drive. Now, if you lose this flash drive, you're really kind of up a creek. This is about $250. Mine cracked within about 6 months, so be super careful with it. And in order for this software to operate, this Vision 10, you have to have this plugged in. So I basically just killed this window. I'm going to close this, plug this into my computer. It goes in upside down, by the way, of all things. All right, now I just plugged it in. There's what's on the flash drive. We're going to minimize this window. Now I'm going to open up Vision. And because that dongle's plugged in, this will open. So there we have it. It's opened up, full screen. I go up to File, and I go down to my EIP-KMC-00. So that's what's on the platter, on the corner of the key platter that you're going to put your keys in. Guys, I should show you all these platters. So you got to order all these. They're about $200 a pop. Kind of sad, really. Go to Ilco, and they have a section that you can download, and you can see every platter that you're going to need for each individual key. They make these. They're made out of plastic. They got spring holders for your keys. And like I say, the numbers for these things are, there it is, right there. That's what you're going to need to know from this sheet for each key. And these are not cheap, so treat them nicely. And they just mount right with 2 screws on top of your Engrave-It Pro. We're just going to open up a new one. How about that? Let's go up to a new one. You go to open. All the key platters right here will be showing here, and this is off that flash drive. So I had the guy download it into my computer. Right here is going to be what I need. It's that K1-00. That's it right there. So I touch that, and that's not the one. So I really want KMC. There's my Medico key head, and this matches it right here. And you touch like the T, and you double click that, and now my cursor is active inside there, and I'm going to get rid of everything we see here. I go right like that, and we'll go 201. So that would be the next key in line with my master key chart, because I cut them by hundreds. We're going to go right here like this, and then I jump off of that in that square. I touch that like that, and then I push on my keyboard, I push FN and F3. Now that puts little squares all the way around this key. Now see this little square up here? That's called multiples. So this is a multiple setup, and in this, if you've done it right, you'll have 21 to the platter. We'll do 2 because we're doing multiples. Got 2 of them. I go right down here to OK. Now, I can type in anything I want, but I already have N201. I just highlight that. It'll go 201, 202, 203. So I'm going to sanitize it. So the base is 201. I'm on numbers. If I wanted characters, it would do alphabetical characters. The next one in line. O would be next. Then P, and it would just do characters like that. So I want numbers. It remembers all this information for you. So I say set as base. Go OK up here. Notice the numbers are 201, 202. And I say OK over here now after I've sanitized it. And there they are on the platter. N201, N202. I could have done all kinds of things with the numbers, change the sizes of them, but that'll fit right on my key. It'll engrave right down here underneath my phone number. And that's what I wanted to do. You go over to the engraver symbol right here. This is a diamond drag setup. So then I would just touch engrave, and this will send the information. There's a spooler in this thing, piece of software that talks to my Engrave-It Pro. So let's go out to the shop and we'll get our way through this. Okay, what you have is you have an Ethernet cable. And you either better have an Ethernet adapter on your laptop, or you have a plug that's an Ethernet. Highly suggest you have a computer with an Ethernet plug-in. That's going to be hard to find nowadays. But this is a Windows 8 software. Works perfect with this whole setup. So I'm going to plug this Ethernet cable into the back of my Engrave-It Pro. You'll probably already have it plugged in. Now you're going to turn this bad boy on. Screen lights up. Now depending on what model you have, you may not have any of this. You may have just one screen over here on the right. It's all like this in the screen. So it's touch sensitive screen. I kind of like the buttons. So everything moves forward. This is still the same machine. Now we're going to plug this into my computer. Just happened to have a plug. That's how old this computer is. Okay, here we go. Now before you get going here, you gotta push go home. This thing has to know where it's at. All right, now it's in the far left corner, top of the platter. You're gonna see the names of different platters. So when I was talking about that name, it's an EIP-KMC-00. Really, they don't know where they come up with those names, but it's for this medical key. These are just my test keys. I guess they didn't do this one. Might pop that off. Put in one of these old ones in the corner. You're going to save your old keys because you want to do some tests on. There's that icon, and we're already on diamond metal drag. It was already set up that way, but I just changed it. Go ahead and take a look here. When I click that icon, a spooler is going to take over and put the information right into this. And when that start button starts blinking, you know it fed the information from your laptop through the Ethernet cable over to your Engrave-It Pro. That's success. Now I couldn't get my Windows 11 to work with this Engrave-It Pro. There's a driver problem. And Vision, the guys down there, they charge $100. Forget that. I'll just use my old laptop until they come up with some new software, and then you get, for about that same price, you buy into the new software and you get a year of service. Many phone calls. My tip for the day, don't just buy one phone call, buy new software and get many phone calls for a year because you're going to need it. The new software. Push the start button. It's asking me to do that anyway by blinking. So let's go ahead and push start. It's engraving just what I wanted it to do. Now that is much better than hand punching. Don't you think? Little bit of material on there. because it's a diamond drag. There's a diamond underneath there. And I already had the height set up. That's not hard to do. You just take the unit and you can move the these little cursors. If you have a touch screen, you're going to do the same thing. And then you're going to set it down on top of that key. Adjust this clicking little thing. For fine-tune adjustments, it'll just ride on the key. And then you push go home, and there it went home. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for subscribing to my channel, guys. Tell your friends. But if you want to stick around just a little longer, I'm going to go through this one more time. So if you're thinking about buying this machine, you should pay close attention. Let's run through the software one more time, just so you know how it works. You can use the back arrow. See that arrow? You want to have all these little buttons all lit up on your screen that you're looking at. So ask them guys to turn on all these buttons on your ribbon. So let's go backwards. So there's the key. I can start over again right from this point, instead of going back through all the files and doing all that stuff. All right, let's do this. Get your X over the top of the number and you touch that. And then you touch it again. All right, now my cursor, I'm using an arrow button to do this, and I'm going to get rid of that 1, and I'm going to do 3. Okay, 3. So we'll start at 3. That'll be my base. So now I touch my cursor right in the inside of that square one time. That has lit up this area that I'm going to engrave. Now I push on my keypad right here. I push FN and I push F3. So you hold down FN and F3 all at the same time. What I'm going to do is get you to have multiples going. This sequencer won't work. FN, F3. Now that has lit up little squares around the key that you're going to engrave. I have the multiples symbol lit up, but I can also just go up, edit, and I'm going to go to layout, multiples. Now you know it's working properly. You had all the things highlighted properly if you have the number sequence right here. Out of the box at 21. Do not change these numbers. You will hate life. So I'm going to do multiples, so you got to have a couple on there. It won't work in multiples. 1 will just do the 1 box, but I want to show you how you do multiples. So I'll do 2. You highlight this, and then you go down to OK. Yes, I can type up here and change that, but I already have it. So all you're going to do is touch this. These are lit up. The next thing is sanitize. I want the base to be numbers. The 203, 204, now I say it's set as base. You really don't have to touch that. You can just say OK. And looky here. There's the next number, 203 and 204. I say OK here. See, you don't push sanitize anymore. You just say OK. Now there's our numbers right there. Go home. Isn't that cool? So you can be way off. You just push go home. And that gets it set. Now everything's equal for this software to talk to this bad boy. You really need to push go home. I'm going to pop out this key because that's already engraved beautifully. I can show somebody this. That's how it engraves. This is a scrap key. I hate to scrap any of these keys. They're very expensive. Put one of our junky ones over here. They just pop right in. You can pop them out and spring loaded on the top. Just take it and pop it in. So I just pop that in, make sure they're all flat. I push go home so we're cool. Little icon on the left. the engraver head. So that's the same symbol as this engraver head. Now I go over to this icon, and when I push that, it'll load the spooler. See that little yellow spooler? You can delete the information in that spooler, by the way. Not a bad idea to do that. Push that diamond drag symbol. This light should pop on. So let's go ahead and do this. There we go. And this light should start to talk. Go ahead and push start. Isn't that cool? So that's how it works. And I did that so I won't forget, because in 3 months or 2 months or a week, you won't remember to push FN and F3 and touch the cursor on the bottom corner of that square. Guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the show. It was really for me, but you got to see behind the scenes how this all functions. I wish this was easier. That Vision 10 software, you know, it could be easier, but you know, I like one button pushes, but I guess I'm not going to get that with two kinds of things. You've got the Engrave-It Pro by Ilco, and they used another person's software. That actually Vision makes this Engrave-It machine for them guys. If you don't buy it from Ilco, you won't get the key software, so you have to buy it from Ilco. You can't just go to Vision and buy this. It won't function. They can't sell that software to you, as that's proprietary to Ilco, even though they developed it for them. That's kind of the backstory. I've been playing with this for many years, and I wish it got easier. It just doesn't. So please subscribe to my channel, tell your friends, and I'll have more door and lock tips. Oh, that's cool. Like this, coming your way in the future. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll take it from the top one more time. And this is strictly for you guys that own this Vision 10 software and an Engrave-It Pro. So what you do is you push the go back button. It's the arrow up here. I go back. I touch one of the numbers, the corner of the number. Double click on that. Now I touch into the square. I push my arrow button back. Get rid of this 5. I'll just put 8. Now I touch off this square right in this square with my cursor one time. All right, now that's what the whole thing looks. This is all highlighted. Now I push F, N, and F3. FN, F3. Now there's squares lit up around this subject that I'm going to engrave. Okay? And my multiple symbol is showing up, but you can go up to layout. Let's go up to layout. And I do multiples. I tell the quantity Seeing as it's multiples, I have to have more than one, or it'll just do one key. Two keys. If you've done everything right, this number will appear when you hit multiples. I highlight that by just clicking on it. I go down to OK. All I got to do is touch the N208. Then I'm going to go down to sanitize. All I have to do is push OK. I have my number set as the base. Then I push OK here because I don't want to sanitize it anymore. There are my keys that are going to be cut next, 8 and 9. We'll call it engraved next. Now I push go home. My computer's talking to me. Jeez, that's old software. Windows 8. All right, I went home. Now I touch this icon right here, which is the Engrave-It icon. I'm going to drag that diamond. I go over here and touch the drag diamond. Now this should start blinking start. There we go. So the software talk to each other, and I can just push start. And it's engraving. Now if your lettering's a little different, you can make it smaller, bigger by grabbing the corners of the square when you're typing. Isn't that cool? So that's how easy it works. And if I want to do the next sequence of numbers, I just push that arrow and I go back to the individual key and I can work on those numbers. Thanks for staying to the end, guys. Please subscribe to my channel. I have more door and lock tips like this coming your way in the future. Oh, and by the way, do not save any changes that you made. Don't do that. If you do, it'll hold this information to the next one and you can't start fresh. So I'm going to close this down and it's going to ask me, do I want to save? And I'm going to say, no, I don't want to save any changes that I did there. Please don't save your changes. You'll hate life. Oh, and hey, here's the other key. So it held that. Now I'm going to say no save changes there either. All right, we're going to close this out totally now. I never made any changes on that, so that's why it's not asking me. Okay, and now you can eject this information. Eject it through your software, and then you won't corrupt the files on that flash drive that is $250. Cracked. Thanks again, guys. Door and lock tips.